Okay. We should be live right now. I'm just double checking to make sure and see that we're good to go.
Yeah, it said it was live on my end.
Yeah, I'm seeing where it's live here. I'm just double checking to see that, make sure that it loads up. Okay, we're good. All right. I'm going to start a 30-second countdown because screw it, why not? Just to make sure everything works on my end. Okay. All right. Are we good? We're good?
Yes, sir.
We're good?
I think
Good.
we're
We've
good.
already got one clown in here. That's how you know we're good. That's how you know we're lives, when you can see stuff like that. All right. Oi, fellow comrades. It is Squidtard here with co-host buddy Lucas Sharp. What's going on?
Nothing much, man.
What are you doing horns up for?
No,
You're thinking of the wrong UT there, buddy.
no, I'm not. I'm technically not doing the horns up. I'm doing the.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I got that. I made sure I got the thumb.
Nice. Well, unfortunately, our third co-host, Juilo, could not make it today. He is on a cruise. So good luck to him. Shout out to him wherever he's at right now. Yeah. So, of course, as you can tell, the format of the Vol-Star podcast from this point onward is going to be a little bit different than how it usually is. Let's see. I'm just double checking to make sure everything works, because that would really suck if it didn't and we ran through the show and we didn't know what we were doing. Okay. We're good. We're clean. We're doing great. So, yeah, I'm doing this directly through StreamYard now, as compared to when I did it to, just through OBS, and then I did it through StreamYard. It was a bit of a headache. It was a bit of a pain on my end. And so, because I've had very minimal amount of time to kind of experiment around with this, and I'm not even using my own StreamYard, there was only so much I could do before the show began. So that's why it looks as primitive as it is. Hopefully this time next week, things will be a lot more upgraded and different. And I'm using Mark Rogers StreamYard, so I'm going to give him a call. Hopefully sometime this week, and we'll figure that one out. But yeah. All right. So the Vol-Star podcast, what have we got to talk about today, Lucas? Man, there is a lot to speak about for sure. Where do we begin?
I guess we gotta save Miami for last, right? That's got to be the last.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. So before we get started with the talk about Week 6, which was probably without a doubt the craziest week of college football thus far, first we have to give a shout out just to some of the other sports around Tennessee. So for starters, the Lady Vols are ranked in the top 10 for the first time since 2005. So shout out to them.
Yeah, and the volleyball team.
Oh, the volleyball team. Yeah, that's right. Lady Vols, baby. Yeah. Good old volleyball team. And then in rugby, get this, Lucas. So Tennessee played a rugby match against LSU on Saturday. What do you think the score was?
Oh, yeah, I saw it was 87-0.
87-0.
Our rugby team's legit. Like, they literally won the national championship a few years ago. So that shows how good they are. Same with even though they're not really NCAA related sports, our cornhole team is also really good. They won the national championship a few years ago.
Are we classified to call ourselves Cornhole U?
Yes, Cornhole U and Rugby U.
Damn right, can't take that title away from us. So yeah, that's the biggest news in Tennessee sports as of now, other than college football. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that here on the show today. As like I previously mentioned, Week 6, hell of a week for college football. If you are not a college football fan, what better time to take a look at college football than what happened this last week? Lucas, there was some wild events going on in college football this past week. And of course, there's so much we could choose from, Lucas. I mean, just so many different events happened. I guess we'll start out with the noon slate. And we figured out very quickly that Texas, while they are still very good, they may not be as back as some people thought they were. They lost to Oklahoma 34-30. Oklahoma actually made a big drive at the very end of the game. Dylan Gabriel shines at the very end of the game and pulls a big dub over Texas. Great game. Both teams played pretty well.
Yeah, it was a good game, man. It was definitely a good game. Oklahoma's defense is legit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, both defenses played a really good game. Texas, of course, Quinn Ewers, he still had 350 yards passing, but he also had 2 picks. So it was just a great game overall. A lot of, just a lot of different pieces from both sides of the ball. But unfortunately, an L's an L, and one team has to take a dub, and one has the honors of not taking a dub. So that's just all there is to it.
And what I find funny, there's a lot of people saying that Texas is now a bad team since they lost to Oklahoma. That's not the case. Texas, I think, is still a good team. It's just Oklahoma is also a good team. They're both really good teams, in my opinion. And they're going to be. I think they're going to meet each other again in the Big 12 championship.
Would not surprise me in the slightest. I mean, right now there is such a big gap between the Big 12, the top 2 teams, Texas and Oklahoma, and then everyone else is just down in the toilet. It's wild.
I was going to say it's Texas and Oklahoma, huge gap, Kansas, and then another gap.
Another gap, and then everyone else. Because, boy, that conference is it's awful. It is awful. Matty Sims says, why can't Miami Hurricanes players ever propose to their girlfriends? It's because they don't know how to take it. Now that, no pun intended, that's quite the knee slapper right there. Yeah, man, take notes.
Oh,
that's
my
what a knee
goodness.
slapper looks like. Yeah, you ain't much of a knee taker. Stay tuned for later today, by the way. I didn't mention this in the title, but we've got 2 guys coming on here, hopefully. One is a South Carolina man and one's a Florida man. And they'll be duking it out later. In fact, I'm actually planning on getting them on here right now, Lucas. Would you want that?
Sure, that's fine.
Bet. All right. Let me I'll go ahead and send them the link to the StreamYard and they can hop on right on in here. Yeah, I know it's weird to have Kansas being placed in the Big 12. So definitely very, very wild.
Yeah, Kansas is definitely legit, man. They're probably going to finish 3rd in the Big 12.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I'm just thinking about how much, if you're trying to get somebody into college football, last week was the time to do it. There was so much going on last week. You had top 10 matchups, big time upsets, a lot of ranked teams go down, just a lot of phenomenal matchups.
Yeah, man.
Here's another ranked team that went down. And this one was a big shocker to me. I did not expect things to play out the way they did. Louisville put the whooping of a lifetime on Notre Dame, won 33-20, forced 3 interceptions on Sam Hartman, probably Sam Hartman's worst game yet at Notre Dame. Just Louisville outright dominated this Notre Dame team, and they've proven that they're a very, very good team.
Yeah, Louisville's legit. Louisville has proven now that they are definitely legit. Jeff Brom, he's a good coach, man. As much as I hate, even though he beat us a few years ago with Purdue, I have to admit he's definitely a good coach, and he's turned that Louisville team around.
Yeah, definitely.
And looking at the rest of Louisville's schedule, 12-0 isn't out of the equation, if you ask me. Like, look at their schedule. They play a bunch of low tier ACC teams.
So.
Besides Miami. Well, Miami lost to Georgia Tech.
Well, yeah. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Miami, but it is worth noting. Okay, so Miami plays on the road at Pitt. We can probably write that in as a dub, I guess.
Yeah.
So they'll be riding in 7-0 to what will probably be a undefeated ACC matchup here, because right after Pitt, they're playing Duke.
Actually, Duke has a loss.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they lost to
They
Notre
lost to
Dame.
Notre Dame. Yeah, I forgot about that. You know,
Yeah.
the
If you
moment Notre Dame takes a loss, you forget that they beat somebody who also had no losses.
if you think about it, I feel like there's actual real possibility we could get 3 ACC teams to be 12-0. Because if you think about it, Florida State, Louisville, and North Carolina, if you look at their schedules, they all don't play each other. So
I would not be surprised if that's how it played out. It's going to make things very exciting. And
yeah,
Louisville still, I mean, this as it stands right now, they've got 3 more ranked teams that they still have to play on their schedule. So it isn't as clear cut as intent or some people say it is. Now, one of those teams I will say definitely doesn't. Actually, 2 of those probably don't deserve to be ranked. Yeah, let's talk about Kentucky. Why don't we? I've been telling you guys this actually, I probably didn't say much about it, but most people knew this already. Kentucky, they were fool's gold. I feel like everybody knew that. And the same goes with Missouri. Both teams are undefeated heading up into this week. Other than Georgia, they were the only 2 other teams that were undefeated just overall in the SEC. And people were like, oh, Kentucky might be the real deal this year. Look at how they're playing. Well, they're playing a bunch of nobodies. It's like this every year. Kentucky rolls on into this game, a big game, undefeated, and then just, doesn't show up. And it's also in part to Georgia finally showing up when they were supposed to. Carson Beck, 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Just a phenomenal game by Georgia. They finally showed up for an entire game. And, Kentucky just didn't stand a chance. 51-13 was the final score of this game. It was clear from go that there was just no way Kentucky was going to match up.
Yeah, I feel kind of stupid because on Twitter I said that I thought Kentucky had a chance. Well, I was clearly wrong. I thought
don't do that.
That game was over from when the moment the ball kicked off. Carson, they made Carson Beck look like Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, it was dicing up their defenders, and Georgia also did a great job just completely shutting down the run, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought Kentucky was going to be able to run the ball really well against Georgia, and that's part of the reason why people thought this was going to be a great matchup.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, nope. It just goes to show that Tennessee might be Florida's Super Bowl. There you go, Spencer Rattler. Wave that flag around. See, Maddie says it best. Kentucky starting 5-0 against a Charmin Ultra Soft schedule to start getting astronomical hype against the expected East champ, only to lay an egg. Where have I seen this movie play out before? It's an ever occurring sequel. We're on the 6th edition.
Yeah, Kentucky does this every single year. They play a bunch of terrible teams, and then when they finally have to play a real team, they get exposed.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't get any easier for Kentucky. Of course, they still have to play Tennessee after a bye week, and then they got Bama on their schedule too, along with South Carolina and Louisville. So there are definitely more losses coming.
Yeah, Bama actually has been looking better and better, honestly. They've been looking better every single week.
Actually, Maddie, it's 2018. Kentucky started out like 7-0 back in 2018 with Benny Snow, and then they played A&M, lost, and then they lost again to Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt's first. I mean, they got blown out by Tennessee and Jeremy.
That was a terrible Tennessee team. I don't know how we won that game.
And you know what the greatest part about that is? That one's not vacated.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the greatest part about that. So, yeah, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, those are 3 teams right there who are all waltzing into this week or last week undefeated and then ended up laying an egg. Missouri, not so much. They put on a great fight against LSU, but in typical Missouri fashion.
Yeah. I was so close to being right about Missouri, man. It makes me kind of upset.
Janine Cinti has joined us. What's going on? I want the Texas A&M Tennessee game be violent. What? Huh?
I want to text the Texas A&M Tennessee game be violated. That makes no sense, Janine.
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to elaborate on that one. I thought Georgia was gonna lose. That was the first mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we have to talk about? Ooh, let's speak on this a little bit. So, of course, there were some top 10 teams that went down last night, but there was one other top 10 team that avoided near disaster
Oh yeah,
again. And if you're an Eastern timer like me, chances are you're most likely already asleep. I
yeah.
stayed up for it, but yeah. In case you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm talking about USC. USC beat Arizona in triple overtime or double overtime. Excuse me. 43-41, the final score of that game. Arizona ties it up late. USC misses the go-ahead game-winning field goal at the end, and so they go into overtime. USC goes for two. Of course, you have to go for two in the second overtime. They get it, and then Arizona does Arizona things, just completely falls apart at the end on that 2-point conversion when they scored the touchdown. And it's just more of the same story for USC, Lucas. They have a phenomenal offense. Caleb Williams continues to make phenomenal plays game in, game out. The only issue is Lincoln Riley only believes that half the game is played. You know, he only plays half of football. Great offense every single year, and the defense is something made out of it's like you're watching 11 cinder blocks out on the field.
Yeah.
They can't tackle nobody. They're too slow to get after anybody. Arizona was dicing them up on every single drive. It was unreal just how terrible this USC defense may be.
Yeah, man. USC's defense is absolutely awful. USC, they're gonna lose a game. I don't know when they are, but it's gonna happen. Whether
They're
it
gonna
be
lose more than one. Do you see what their schedule looks like ahead?
I think don't they have to play Oregon?
Oh my gosh,
They
this is the most brutal slate I've seen any Pac-12 team play.
Oregon,
Here,
Washington.
here's your next 5 games for USC. Number 21 Notre Dame on the road, Utah at home, Cal on the road. Not too bad, but it is on the road. Then Washington at home, and then Oregon on the road. And then, of course, they play UCLA at the end of that.
Which,
so,
man, that's definitely brutal.
Now, people in the comment section, do you guys think USC comes out of that unscathed? Do you think they come out of that with only one loss?
No, zero chance. Zero chance.
Not with the defense they've been putting up on the field. I'll take Oregon and Washington and lay whatever point spread it is.
Oregon and Washington will beat them like a drum. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. I made a video of me I did a video like you did with the Tennessee South Carolina game, except I had a sub from the Bellas and I eat with a fork.
What?
Ooh.
Wait, what?
We'll have to follow back on that one later. Alex Grinch is if Goldman Sachs was a football coach. Dude gets bailed out of his own incompetence time and time again. Lincoln Riley and the taxpayer can't bail out. Well, this is Lincoln Riley's fault too. You have to look at this the exact same way you look at Iowa and Kirk Ferentz and Brian Ferentz. The only difference is maybe Alex Grinch is Lincoln Riley's son. We don't know. Yeah. But the way maybe it is, because the way it looks right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. It's ridiculous just how long they're willing to keep a leash on this guy.
Yeah.
Just continuous, terrible defense week in and week out. Yeah. And it's not even that USC just has a defense. Like, it's not a depth issue like Tennessee. It's nothing near that. They have Bear Alexander out there on the field, and Bear Alexander was the most hyped defensive player in the offseason, and then by game one, you don't hear him ever again. That's the issue with USC, is that you just do not have a defense capable of doing jack diddly squaddle doodle doo.
Man, Lincoln Riley leaving Oklahoma has been a blessing in disguise for Oklahoma fans.
Yeah, Oklahoma fans are probably happy right now, knowing they don't have to deal with that headache anymore.
Because, of course, their defense is obviously better since they have what's his face is their head coach. I can't remember his name.
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah. But yeah, their defense, of course, has gotten better. Not to mention their offense is actually still pretty solid. So yeah, Oklahoma's definitely better off without Lincoln Riley.
The way it looks, I could definitely see where you're coming from. Okay. Let's see. So we've covered I'll tell you this on a little bit of a side note. Let's talk about Wyoming for a minute. They're sitting there at 5-1 right now. And it's just Wyoming. Well, okay, Wyoming beat Texas Tech early in the season. Their only loss is to Texas, who they were. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they were tied with them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I think I could be wrong. Let me see. Let me see. But yeah, man, Wyoming is definitely a good team. I think they're the best Group of 5 team. I guess either them or Air Force. Air Force is undefeated, so I guess you gotta consider Air Force.
Yeah.
And then I know James Madison is also undefeated though, but they play in the Sun Belt.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, Wyoming, I mean, they do have a loss, but it's to Texas, and they just beat the team that everybody has been gargling on when it comes to Group of 5 teams, Fresno State. So you beat them, and I have Wyoming ranked, and people are butthurt about it. Of course, the fact that Wyoming isn't ranked in the AP poll, and now people are like, oh, you can rank a 2-loss SEC team, but you won't rank Wyoming. Look, it's not Wyoming's fault that they play a really shitty schedule. That's just the way it is.
And actually, I just looked it up. Wyoming was tied with Texas heading into the fourth quarter.
3-0. I see you in the back room. We have one more topic to cover before we let you on in, and then once we get through that, I will let you and our other guy in. We'll settle this thing. I'm very excited to show you guys what I have planned for that. So just chill in the back room for a minute. We'll get to you momentarily. Okay. So now the moment we got to talk about it, Lucas.
Oh yeah.
I can't stop laughing about it. Just the sheer incompetence of this happening. So think about this for a minute. I'm sure everyone knows about that. There's no way you can be anybody and not know about this. But if
so, I didn't watch the game, but I saw the ending on YouTube, and I was watching the ending, and I was like, wait, how in the world did Miami lose this game?
Yeah, it was like one of those freak occurrences. So picture it like this. Miami, okay, to give you the whole story, Miami has the ball. 30 seconds left in the game. It's third down. Georgia Tech has no timeouts. So literally all you have to do is take a knee. That's it. Georgia Tech there would be no time left on the clock. You win the game like that. Simple, easy peasy. You leave. And you leave with a W, and you're still undefeated. And, well, that's not what happened. That's not the story that happened. They run the ball. Georgia Tech, Miami fumbles the ball. Georgia Tech recovers. And then in 25 seconds, goes 70 yards down the field, and then makes a game-winning 40-yard completion with 1 second left on the clock for a touchdown. Miami, of course, couldn't do anything, and they lose the game.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, remember, this is the same Georgia Tech team that literally got blown out by Bowling Green the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Without a doubt, in my mind, whichever way you look at it, there's no debate here. Miami and Mario Cristobal, biggest lolcow of the season.
Yeah.
By a significant margin.
If that happened to Tennessee, I don't know about you, I would personally drive all the way to Knoxville and help all the Vol fans run that coach out of town.
That's a Tennessee way to lose. That's a storybook Tennessee way to lose. That would be something like Derek Dooley would pull. Just forget that there's 12 men on the field along with it. So it's hard to sympathize with Miami fans, Lucas, because they were one of the fan bases that was telling Tennessee fans like us that we ain't no good and we're terrible and blah 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 blah. In 2001, look at our 5 natties from a time where nobody remembers. At least now, look at where they are.
Yeah, at least Josh Heupel knows when to knee the ball. Mario Cristobal, he's an amazing recruiter, but you got to coach these guys up, and you got to know when to call the right plays in the game. This is absolutely ridiculous. Mario Cristobal, just for that alone, in my opinion, needs to be fired. I don't care if they're still technically in the playoff race. He needs to be fired.
Without a doubt in my mind, I think the worst part about this isn't even part of the game and the fact that they lost to Georgia Tech. Losing to Georgia Tech in any situation is bad. Losing to a team like that is terrible. But the worst part about it is for Mario Cristobal, this is a repeat offense. He did this exact same thing back all the way in 2018 in a matchup that was bigger than this one. Oregon was undefeated going up against a top 10 Stanford team, and he did the exact same thing then that he did a couple of nights ago. Ran the ball instead of taking a knee, fumbles the ball, Stanford gets on it, goes down the field, kicks a field goal, goes into overtime, and beats the Ducks.
Yeah.
Beats Cristobal to be more specific. So,
yeah,
this isn't a fireable offense. It's one of the worst things to ever happen, and I'm sure Miami fans are going to have, and I'm sure anybody that says anything about Mario Cristobal is going to have to hear about it for years to come. It's Miami or Mario Cristobal would, in my opinion, would have to win a national championship in order for this monkey to get off his back.
Which, let's be honest, not going to happen.
No.
I remember.
Okay. Actually, it could happen, but the only way it would is if he gets a coaching staff that knows what they're doing. Because that's what, a lot of people think that you just need a good head coach and a really good recruiting class to win a national championship. That is far from the truth. Look at LSU. They had a bunch of really good recruiting classes, but couldn't get out of their own way. But they also brought in Dave Aranda and Joe Brady to help out with coordination. And then out of nowhere, this LSU team looks unbeatable. They go out and go 15-0. So if Miami had that, I believe they could get close to a playoff margin. But no, they don't have that.
Yeah. And not going to lie, if I was the Miami quarterback and they told me to hand the ball off, I would literally be like, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm audibling to a knee.
Well, and some other people keep on pointing this out. Alabama did this thing too. They were up by a touchdown. It was actually the Texas A&M game. They were up by a touchdown, except the difference in that was, and I made sure to check this out, that wasn't a coaching play call. That was Jalen Milroe in a position where he was nervous and he didn't know what to do. And they were doing no huddle too. So that, he didn't have any time to learn after that play call. It was a way different set of circumstances for that because it wasn't Saban's decision to run the ball instead of take a knee. It was Cristobal's decision though.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, before we move on, I got to show you this again. You might have seen this, Lucas. You might have not, but we got to tend to our good old Georgia Tech buddy, C-Dog. This was, and I didn't know this at the time, and I wish I did because I would have loved to see the live reaction, but I went ahead and saw this. I went ahead and saw this earlier, and yeah. All right. Well, before that, let's see the comments. What's up, Nate? Third and Nate. What's going on, buddy? I almost called you Nate the Great, but it seems you changed your name again. Georgia Tech is a good team. This is a team that almost beat Louisville, who's undefeated. Yeah, no, Georgia Tech's not a bad team, but
I mean, I think Georgia Tech's better than they were last year. If you look at their schedule, Georgia Tech technically still has a chance to make a bowl game.
Yeah, they're bipolar. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, Georgia Tech, I mean, I still think they could make a bowl game, honestly.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I do remember you. Matty Sims, Bama still would have killed like 7 seconds, even if they took a double knee. The problem was they opted for a screen pass instead of running the ball on first down. Yeah, no, that is a big problem. But I mean, had Texas A&M got the ball, I mean, truth be told, if Georgia Tech last 2 nights ago didn't get that touchdown to win that game, we wouldn't be talking about this. Nobody would be talking about this. It would just be one of those things like, oh, it's just one of those freak occurrences. They almost lost, but nothing happened. The fact they did lose is why we're even talking about this in the first place. But anyway, now I want to present to you all C-Dog's reaction to this game. It was just, oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing. Let me see. I want to make sure I can share audio on here. Boom. All right.
Nick Rutherford. Wow. They're going to spike 13. We're going to spike it here. Okay. Right, 10 seconds. We're all the way up to their 45. Wow. 10 seconds left, dude. Do we kick a field goal? What do we do?
I think you play for the field goal here. You've got to hit out routes.
Yeah.
Or seams up the sideline.
Man, Malik Rutherford with that grab. And he doesn't quite get out of bounds.
The pop-off here is amazing.
Holy crap.
Yeah, man.
Pass looking. Scrambles out. He's running. Fires deep.
Got him!
Oh my God! Oh my God! A touchdown! 1 second left! A touchdown! Oh my God! Christian Leary with the touchdown! With 26 seconds left on the clock! Oh my God! It prevents you from winning! Oh my God, dude!
Oh my God!
My God, I cannot believe what I've laid my eyes upon tonight.
Oh, you trash, you!
Oh my God!
Talking
Yes! Oh my God! We're yellow! Hey! Sucks to be you! Woo! Woo! That's what I'm talking about! Yeah!
You don't know blowing us out because you can't even beat us!
That's a beautiful moment, isn't it?
That's great.
The passion
Yeah.
from these college football fans, man. You gotta love it.
Yeah, Sea-Dog. I love how literally he was so down in the dumps after the, of course, blowout loss to Miami. And he was actually blowout loss to Bowling Green. He was actually in attendance for that game. And he was actually like leaving the game early. And there was some people in his comments calling him a fair weather fan because he was leaving early, which I don't understand. But yeah, and then the next week they just come out and beat Miami, and then he becomes like the happiest person on planet Earth.
I know. That's why I say it's a bipolar thing. When you're a Georgia Tech fan, you just never know. You never know what's coming for you.
Man, Brent Key he's 3-0 against ranked ACC teams on the road. I think that's an insane stat.
Oh yeah. No, it is. It like that's like give him all the credit in the world, man. I heard this on Josh Pate's show. I think nobody would be talking about this if Georgia Tech had done that while they were still down by 20 points. I think a lot of people should be giving credit. Should be giving credit to Georgia Tech for the ability to stay in that game all the way up until the very end.
Yeah, of course, it's funny to, of course, laugh and make fun of Miami, but yeah, we also got to give credit to Georgia Tech.
Absolutely. Of course, the biggest lolcow of the season, the Miami Hurricanes will probably remain that way until next year. But
yeah, I will say one thing about Georgia Tech. Haynes King, he's legit. Haynes King is legit. He is him.
Yeah. Haynes King to Christian Leary sounds so weird. All I can think of is King at A&M and Leary at Bama. That is a very awkward set of circumstances. I'm happy that my Oklahoma State Cowboys beat Kansas State. You could AIP, the way Oklahoma State's been playing this year, you could probably just say I'm happy that my Oklahoma State Cowboys won, and we get the idea because they've been lost.
Man, Oklahoma State. I picked them to make the playoffs last year.
Oh, Lucas.
No.
No. Oh, no.
That's when they were projected to be like a good team, but then, of course, they came out and...
No. Oh, that is not a good look.
No, not this year, but last year.
Yeah.
And I picked Utah to make the playoffs last year, too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's that. You should not take any gambles with them. That's you can never rely on a Big 12 team to do jack diddly squat. I'll tell you that much.
I think Mike Gundy, he might need to retire.
Yeah, Yeah, it's hard for me to disagree with that, man. It's it's just maybe one of those things with these guys. I'm waiting on our Florida man to join because once he does, I'm going to go ahead and let these two have. Well, we're going to talk about. We'll be able to talk about all the Week 7 games, kind of talk about the big matchups, and there's some big matchups next week too, of course. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we're on CBS primetime again. Did you hear that?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, one against A&M and then against Alabama.
Makes sense considering, the obvious, but yeah, you know how it is. Well, I meant to say that I'm happy that they won. I know that we're not doing too great this year, but hopefully our defense will get better each game. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want Mike Gundy to leave? Yeah, maybe it's getting that time, but who are they going to get? I don't know. All right. Well, our Mr. Florida fan has finally jumped on in. So we are ready for the next section of our show. We're going to be able to talk about all the Week 7. We're not going to talk about all the matchups that nobody cares about. I doubt anybody's really paying attention to 0-5 Sam Houston versus New Mexico State. But there are some pretty fun games coming up, and I'd love to narrow those down and take a look at what we've got. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and let these guys in. And some of you guys might recognize this person. Mr. South Carolina fan here. He's been around YouTube for a little while now, and he goes by the name 3-0, but we're 3-0. That's what he went by. What's going
up,
on,
y'all?
Glad to have you back here.
Yes, sir.
All right, and now we're gonna let our Florida fan in here, and of course, most of y'all remember him too if you've been around my YouTube channel for a while. He's been on plenty of my live streams. Was with me on the NFL draft stream, Mr. Ryan Mears. What's going on?
South Carolina sucks.
All right. We're off to a great start, aren't we?
Yeah, amazing start.
I'm surprised you didn't have your name set to 38-6.
No, but this is a picture of ETN's 85-yard run from last year.
I don't see a South Carolina player in that, therefore no proof.
What other game did he have a run that long in?
I don't know.
None.
You tell me.
The real question is can somebody other than your punter score more than 6 points this time?
Probably.
We'll see.
All right. Well, y'all will get plenty of time to hash this out later in the show, but we've got some real barn burners to talk about. We're going to go ahead and cut into the Week 7 games, talk about some of these matchups, and then of course give you guys plenty of time to hash it out when we talk about the South Carolina and Florida game. And then after that, me and Lucas will cover A&M versus Tennessee. All right, well, let's talk about this one. So, of course, as we know, I'm sure everyone knows this. Actually, you know what? Before we move on to this one, first let's talk about because I'm going to load this clip up. So let's talk about another game before we get to that. 4-2 Syracuse going on the road to play number 4 Florida State. Ryan, as a Florida fan, I already know you might have a bit of a biased take on this, but I'm guessing you're expecting to see Florida State lose this Saturday to Syracuse.
No, that'll be next Saturday when Duke comes in there.
That's fair.
Maybe.
Florida State's coming into this game as 17.5-point favorites, and I don't know. This could be a bit of an upset. Who knows? I mean, they could probably. I mean, would you guys take Syracuse to cover the spread?
No, Syracuse is not that good.
Yeah.
Syracuse is, I think this might be the second or third year in a row where they're off to a really hot start, like 4-0 and 5-0, and then they just fall off the face of the planet.
Yeah, they're the ACC version of Kentucky, honestly.
I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah,
Like
they made Clemson look competent on offense. That should tell you all you need to know.
Last year, I think they started out like 5-0 and finished 7-6. So
I think you're actually right.
Florida State
about that.
dominates.
What's weird though is that nobody really talked about it up till now, but I think a lot of people just came to this realization like the day afterwards. Clemson and Wake Forest was actually a barn burner. Clemson only won by they only won by like 4 points against Wake Forest. That one actually shocked me. I looked at that box score. I was like, oh my gosh, how was this game this close? Clemson's just being more incompetent on offense.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, but I expect Florida State to
see it.
Oh, yeah. But I expect Florida State to win this game. I think a lot of people have held on to that belief. But who knows? It may not stay that way for long. All right. Now I've got the clip that I wanted to show you guys. Now that I've got that clip, I'm going to share this to y'all. I've played this clip multiple times throughout the past few weeks, and I'm going to play it again for y'all for one of our good old buddies. All right. Yeah. Here you go.
Vandy is going to be at least 6-1. Vandy is going to be at least 6-1. Vandy is going to be at least 6-1.
So let's go ahead and check on that. Oh, so does that correct me if I'm wrong, fellas? But does hold up? Does that read 6-1 to me? I don't know. 6-1.
Well, I mean, technically they should be 1-6 because Hawaii did beat them. So I guess numbers wise, he wasn't too far off.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're way closer to you're way closer to 1-6 than 6-1. Oh, the mighty have fallen, huh? Real mighty.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, Vandy playing against number 1 Georgia. You can tell by the matchup predictor. Nobody in their right damn mind thinks that. Nobody thinks Georgia stands a chance in this game. Let's just all be real here.
Yeah, Georgia don't stand a chance.
It's over. The Ken Seals trade is just
that's certain someone would look at that and say, "So you're telling me there's a chance?"
Oh yeah, two all aboard the Ken Seals train. Did AJ Swan get hurt? I'm assuming that's why he's not playing.
Yeah, he did.
Man, well, I guess we're all in favoritism of Vanderbilt here. We think Vandy's winning this game by a huge margin.
Yeah, Vandy on the money line easily.
Oh yeah. 6-1. 6-1. Man, I can't get over that. 6-1. How delusional do you have to be in order to actually genuinely believe that Vandy is going to go 6-1?
About as delusional as Jared, apparently.
Well, remember, they return a bunch of 2-star players, so that means they'll clearly be starting that way.
Here's my favorite. I remember talking to him about this, and he said that Vandy was going to beat the ever-living hell out of both Kentucky and Missouri, and the reasoning for it, they suck.
Didn't both of them hang over 40 on them? Yeah, they sure suck.
Yeah, they suck. That's the only reason they could give. They just suck. And then I remember having to hear about how Ken Seals is the next coming of Kyle Shermer. And because Kyle Shermer beat Tennessee back in 2018, that means that he's going to beat Tennessee this year under a brand new offense. Just incredible logic right there. So the line in this game is Georgia, 31.5. You guys think they can't? Yeah, well, let's all be honest here. They cover.
Yeah, they cover.
This game's going to be like 92-0 halfway through the first quarter.
Well, remember the last time they played in Nashville, Georgia covered the spread in the first quarter.
Right?
Wait, did they really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like 35-0 in the first quarter.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Matty Sims says, did 3-0's teams go 3-0 to start the season?
No, they started 0-1.
No, this name comes from back in 2017 or 2018 because of a Uncle Lou clip.
But we're 3-0. Squidtard Sports, how come you're not an NFL fan? Because
it's
I
mid.
just don't. Yeah, sorry,
I
just
can't
college
blame him,
football.
to be honest.
And also the Saints are terrible, and continuously let me down every week. But we won't talk about that. Okay.
Y'all won this week.
Woo! Maybe we can continue winning. I don't know. We'll see. Arkansas and Alabama. So I want to talk about this one for a brief minute. Arkansas has come on some very hard times as of recently. I thought they were going to start out a lot better than they did, but 2-4. Ay. That is no fun. I guess we're all in agreement that Bama's going to cover that spread.
Yeah.
19,
Yeah,
19 and a
Bama
half.
found themselves in Arkansas's terrible. They're winning bigly.
Bigly.
I think we.
That is not a word. Is bigly a word?
Yes.
Oh,
If it isn't, it should be in the dictionary.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we. I'm glad we.
Word,
I'm glad we got to excludingly talk about that one. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I'll be honest. There aren't too many good games on here. However,
Let's talk about the game of the year right there. UMass at Penn State.
oh yeah, no, that was Barnburg. Good look, 43-point line on that game.
That's big. I don't know
That's
if I
the game
touched
of the year right there.
I don't know if I touched that line, honestly.
Who cares about the game underneath them? Game day should have gone to this.
Yeah. Oregon,
yeah.
Washington? Nah.
UMass
Battle
wins
of
69-0.
UMass 69-0 in the first quarter. What do you mean
Yes.
by that? I want to see UMass and UTEP battle it out.
Oh God.
They won't even call him by UMass. They're just calling him Massachusetts now. The hell's a Massachusetts? Anyway, Oregon and Washington. Been meaning to talk about this one. What a hell of a game this is going to be right here. Number 8 Oregon, number 7
We love our
Washington.
house.
So this is one of the only top 10 versus top 10 games that we've had this season, and it is a hell of a game here. Both these teams probably favorites, in my opinion, to make it to the Pac-12 championship. I've seen a lot of predictions already that both these teams are going to beat down USC, and they're going to win out the season undefeated, no matter who wins or loses this game. Both these teams are going to finish out winning the rest of their games. They're both very, very good teams. Oregon's favored barely, but they are. Oh no, I take that back. Washington is a 2.5 point favorite at home. I guess that should be expected. I would say home field advantage is about a 3-point favorite. So if this game were a neutral site, I think the line would be just even. Anyway, who do y'all think's coming out on top in this one?
Bo Nix Heisman campaign continues. Give me Oregon.
Bo Nix will not be focused or a dark horse for the Heisman. I like Michael Penix to throw all over him and win.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Washington on this one. I feel like Washington's the better team. Michael Penix and Roma Duns are probably one of the best, if not the best, QB wide receiver duo in college football.
Yeah, I don't really know who to pick in this one. I think Oregon has looked like the better team these past few weeks. Washington's defense has looked a little bit suspect these past 2 weeks. The Arizona game made me a little bit concerned for them. However, that was on the road. Now they're playing at home. It's going to be a packed environment. These guys will be ready to play. I think Washington grabs the dub, so I'm with you all on that one. So we'll see how that one goes. But I think we're all in favoritism of that being the end result. All right, we're skipping that one for obvious reasons. All right. Hey, AIP Dog, here's one for you. Number 23, Kansas, going up against Oklahoma State. How about Kansas? I would say, and Lucas said this earlier, mentioning the gap. You got Oklahoma and Texas up on top, and then a big gap, Kansas, and then another gap, and then the rest of the Big 12. I guess we're all in agreement on that.
Yes. I think.
It's tough to say because everyone below Kansas is just non-existent. But the Jayhawks are coming in as 3.5 point favorites. I don't really know who to go with in this one. I mean, I do think Kansas is the better team, but they are playing on the road. There's definitely something here that you can go with. I mean, I think Kansas is still a very good team. They proved it last week. They put the beating of a lifetime on UCF at home. And that's a big win right there. So in my opinion, I think the Jayhawks win here. What do y'all think?
Kansas is a playoff team, sir. They're winning by 50.
Glad you got that reference.
Kansas 15-0. Well, okay, 14-1.
Yeah,
The
14.
playoff run begins now.
Yeah, Kansas. They're going 14-1 and win the national championship, and you can't
Texas
do
was
that
just
without beating Oklahoma State. So
That's right.
Texas was just a minor misstep.
yeah, that was a fluke. That was a
The-
fluke
the
game.
refs.
Everybody knows it was a fluke.
The refs. Let's all be honest here. It was the refs.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of the refs, Matty Sims, you know Vandy's superpower when playing UGA is only when it's in Athens on homecoming.
Oh crap!
Yeah, no. Let's
Yeah.
let's pump the brakes on that one.
How in the hell?
Yeah. Wait a minute. So you're saying Vandy's superpower is playing UGA? Would you say Vandy up against UGA on homecoming? Would you say that's Vandy's Super Bowl?
Probably.
Uh-oh. Got another Super Bowl on our hands. Man, there have been a lot of college Super Bowls. I'll tell you that
Holy
much.
heavens.
Yeah, Disney's been busy as of late with all these parades.
All right.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I guess we can all safely assume that Louisville's getting another win this week. They're going up against 1-4 Pittsburgh. Lou coming in as 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah, definitely give me Louisville.
Yeah, give
It
me.
looks like the Cardinals are going to be 7-0.
Well, they play Duke next week, so that's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah. Is that at Louisville or at Duke?
It's at Louisville, I'm pretty sure. So.
Oh.
You know, it's so funny. That matchup is usually pretty good in basketball, but it's hilarious that's going to be finally good in football this year.
I know. a lot of basketball teams are playing out of their minds this year.
Yeah.
What's going on, Neo? Glad you can make it. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Wazoo going up against Arizona. Are y'all picking Wazoo in that one?
Oh, yeah.
Wazoo football.
Yeah, Wazoo. I think they're about to have a bounce back week.
All right. Well, on to the next one. Oh boy, what a real barn burner we got here. Auburn and LSU. Hard to believe these two teams have the same amount of losses. Auburn coming in as 11-point underdogs against LSU in Baton Rouge. Well, I guess we're all in agreement here. LSU is going to win this one.
I think
Auburn
so,
will keep it
but
close.
yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't be at all shocked if this is somehow close for whatever reason.
I believe it is going to be. I think LSU wins this game, but Auburn covers the spread. It's not even like
7.
This is just a weird game all the time.
Oh, absolutely. These two teams, no matter how good or bad which team is, it always turns out to be a really close game. It was even back in 2019 when Auburn was they were all right. And then LSU, of course, is that, the national championship, Joe Burrow, whatever, diddly doo dah. There was a super close game. It came down to the wire. LSU was lucky to come out winners in that one. So I guess if anything was to make me think that LSU were to win this one, it's Jaden Daniels, because it sure ain't BK, freaking Burger King out there. Oh boy, look at me wearing my fleece, guys. Hello, I'm Brian Kelly. Look at me rub my nipples really hard. Jackass.
I don't like that.
All right, we got some other really good games here coming up on the 7:30 slate. Top 10 undefeated USC, for whatever reason, somehow undefeated, going up against 5-2 number 21 Notre Dame, who came off a big skid last week against Louisville. So this is a very tough one to call. And probably the most shocking information I've seen about this game. Look at the line. Notre Dame coming in as 2.5-point favorites. That is a little surprising. I would expect the team with no losses to be the favorite, but it is in the South Bend. So I don't know. Tough game to call, fellas. Who do you think is winning this one?
Notre Dame's going to come home pissed off and they're going to win.
Using the Alabama narrative. Smart.
I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to play Notre Dame after losing to Louisville like they did. That team is definitely going to be looking for blood.
Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame as well.
All right. Well, that's all I needed to hear. Give me Notre Dame to get that win. although it's going to be a close game, I think. I actually picked USC in the offseason, so that'll be very bad for my pick'ems, but my pick'ems are already dead anyway, so why does it matter? All right. For whatever reason, Miami finds themselves still in the top 25.
How?
Yeah.
Excellent question. No one knows.
Yeah, the answer is no on that one.
Miami is ranked while the mighty Wyoming Cowboys aren't.
Yeah, that's bull. That is bull. Wyoming should have gotten that ranking over Miami, but I guess the AP voters see something in the Canes that we don't. But they won't be ranked after this week because North Carolina is going to win in this game. They're coming in as 3.5-point favorites. I'm laying that 3.5.
Yeah, I don't see how you like go from losing the way you did and like building off that, like the way Miami lost that game. Like you can't build off that at all. Like there's nothing to take from that. Like it's just,
you lost at home in humiliating fashion to a terrible team, and now you got to take your team on the road. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if North Carolina wins in a blowout.
Right.
Yeah. No. Give me North Carolina on that.
Yeah. Give me the Tar Heels.
Yeah. Drake May seems to have found his footing last game. I think North Carolina wins by 14.
Yeah, they're a really good team. I think they're. Right now, I think they're a very, very, a very good spot to find themselves in the ACC championship. But who knows? Let me look at the rest of their schedule, see who they've got coming up. So they play Duke as well, but they also play Clemson.
They're beating Clemson.
Yeah, they're beating Clemson.
After the Miami game, their next 3 games are absolutely easy.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, I sure am glad CBS didn't choose this game for their 3:30 primetime kickoff, or even their just primetime kickoff in general. Missouri and Kentucky. Kentucky somehow still ranked after the doo-doo that they laid against Georgia. Both these teams 5-1. Everybody in the nation knew they were probably taking an L right before this game started, and turns out they were correct. So, but the interesting part about this is whichever team wins this one's going to find their way into bowl eligibility. So who do you think's getting there?
Missouri, because they can actually pass.
That's
Kentucky's secondary. They proved last week that they can be easily shredded through the air, and that's exactly what Missouri does well. So, I think Missouri's winning.
Yeah. I'll go with Kentucky as well. Or I'll go with Mizzou. Sorry, I was just paying attention to the Braves. They just took the freaking lead. Oh my gosh!
Oh,
wow, really?
They came back from down 4-1. I know this is a college football thing, but
no, it's not necessarily college football. So
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just so happy right now.
Wait, what inning?
That's fair.
It's the bottom of the 8th.
Let's go.
Hype. Go Braves. All right. So we've covered that one. UCLA and Oregon State, both these teams with 1 loss. This is a huge game in the Pac-12. Not as big as Oregon and Washington, but huge for a variety of reasons. I think who cares? I think if one of these teams wounds up, if whichever team wins this game, they're still in destiny to make it to the Pac-12 championship. So a huge game right here. Who do y'all think's coming out on top?
I think I'm like an Oregon State.
Same, since they're at home.
Yeah, I'll go with Oregon State since they're at home.
It's a tough game to call. I'll say that much.
DJ has looked like I can't pronounce his last name.
DJ Uiagalelei.
We've got a very awkward cycle going on with these. Not quite the tier of the USC, Oregon, and Washington, but the tier right below that. There's a weird thing going on this cycle. So Oregon State beat Utah. Utah beat UCLA. UCLA beat Wazoo, and Wazoo beat Oregon State. What in the world is that all about? There's a big cycle going on, so that makes it very, very difficult to find our winner here. But
it's circle of mid.
It's the 2012 SEC East all over again.
Oh.
Yeah, or the Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida circle. Kentucky beats Florida. Florida beats Tennessee. Tennessee beats Kentucky. Maybe that's what's going on here. But yeah, give me Oregon State. And Matty Sims says it best: death, taxes, the Pac-12 cannibalizing itself.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Pac-12 is about to eliminate themselves from the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait until one team does manage to go like 12-0 or 11-1, and they're ranked in the top 5, and they just get blown out in the Pac-12 championship. That's what's getting ready to happen.
By the 9-3
Utah just
second
decides to go
runner-up.
on a tear.
Yeah, it's going to be somebody. Just somebody's going to come out of the blue and just start putting the whooping on everybody. You never know how that's going to play out. And then Duke versus NC State. Give me Duke. They're 3.5-point favorites. They've looked like the better team so far. And
Well,
even though
is Riley Leonard playing, or is he still injured?
I can't recall, honestly.
Because it depends. If he's playing, I think they win. If he's not, they're probably not winning.
Really, you're that confident in NC State?
No, I'm talking about Duke. If Riley Leonard plays,
Oh yeah, I know that, but I'm saying if Riley Leonard wasn't playing, I'd still pick Duke to win
I
this game.
legitimately do not know who Duke's backup quarterback is. So yeah,
He's not. I mean, he's not bad per se. I mean, he's no Riley Leonard, but I think he is good enough to carry this team to a dub, if that makes any sense.
I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I think Duke will probably win, but still.
Also, this is Duke's first ACC game of the season since Clemson in Week 1.
That's weird.
Well,
Yeah, you want to think that, but here we are. Okay, now that we've talked about most of those games, we get to talk about what some of the people in here have been waiting for. Let's scroll down here and find this Smexy game. As Smexy as it can get. So 3:30 SEC Network. We've got ourselves a phenomenal matchup between 4-2 Florida and 2-3 South Carolina. South Carolina coming in as a 2-point favorite in this matchup. This is going to be a great game, I think. Both these teams have improved in some levels, and well, I do find it surprising that South Carolina is the favorite, to be honest. But who am I to know? This is Williams-Rice Stadium. It's going to be a primetime matchup. The crowd's going to be hype. Lay it on me, fellas. Who do you think's winning this game?
Ryan, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
yeah, I'll let you go first since you're the hosting team.
Alrighty. Well, I'll actually be in attendance for this game, so that's going to be fun. Hopefully. This series with Florida has been like very unpredictable over the course of like the past 2 years. Back in 2021, the last time Florida came to Columbia, they were like a 20-something point favorite and got blown out by like 20-something. Like was it 40-17 or something like that?
Yeah.
Was that? No, that was the Mizzou game. I was about to ask if that was the game that canned Dan Mullen, but that was
No, but it effectively sealed his fate, which I'll have something on that when I talk about this in a minute.
All right.
No, yeah. The big thing for Carolina in this game is going to be how well can the offensive line play, because they were playing fairly well. After obviously the UNC game was a disaster, but up to even the Georgia game, they were all right until they just kind of got tired out just by the sheer depth of Georgia's defense. They were playing pretty well in the Tennessee game, obviously. I mean, Rattler was running for his life, didn't even have any time to let anything develop to throw the ball effectively, and we got blown out by Tennessee. However, we just had the bye week, so hopefully we had some injuries. We started 2 freshmen against Tennessee, and we had some injuries. Hopefully those guys have. I can't remember what the injuries were off the top of my head, but hopefully those guys have like healed up. If they can like block even if it doesn't even have to be perfect, even if just like they play a decent game, Spencer Rattler gets time to have things develop. He's got Leggett, who's playing like one of the best receivers in the country. I don't know if Juice Wells is back or not. I don't think he is, but don't quote me on that. And then Mario Anderson, as we saw on the floor. The one thing that has improved for sure, even in the Tennessee game, is that South Carolina has actually been able to run the ball against Mississippi State and Tennessee. And then with the offensive line healing up, hopefully that should only open up more run lanes because we think we found our best running back in Mario Anderson. I'm thinking this game will probably be pretty close. Probably maybe around. I honestly think it's kind of more of a toss-up. Personally, you could really go either way with this one. Because it was, Florida's defense was playing like one of the best in the country up until the Kentucky game, and then running wise, anyway, just fell apart. Obviously, they defended against the pass pretty well, but Kentucky obviously isn't very good at throwing the ball to begin with. And Rattler's playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, if not the country. So, I think it will be a pretty good game. I don't know if Florida can shut down the pass game. I think they win this game. If not, I think it'll be pretty close. And if South Carolina just plays absolutely terrible against the pass, like they did against Mississippi State, yeah, they have no chance. So it will really depend on if everything can kind of come together for the Gamecocks. If that does, I think we pull out a win, although it'll be close. So that's kind of my analysis on it.
All right. Well, before we move on to what Ryan has to say, I think Lucas has a very fair take here. He says one team will win this game. I think. Well, no, I have to respectfully disagree with that, but we'll just have to agree to disagree on that.
He's not accounting for the fact that an asteroid may hit the field.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
He's rooting for the asteroid.
I think we kind of all are a little bit because we don't know what to expect here.
Right.
This is either going to be a good game or terrible game.
Yeah.
I expect an asteroid to hit the stadium because I know how this game is.
Yeah. See, Matty Sims said he says that both teams will lose, so it's possible.
I could see that.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, what do you think? You have the floor.
Okay,
Jerry.
so I looked it up to try and get some information. Apparently, y'all's depth chart got released, and Juice Wells is not listed.
Okay.
But I can't find much more on that. But I can't say for sure. So my first point is that usually we do not lose in Columbia unless we are on the verge of or have already fired a coach. So, with that being said, we are getting several players back from injury, most notably Trevor Etienne and several offensive linemen. With that, I think our offense is finally going to wake up from the dumbass spell we usually have when we go on the road. And we're going to break a curse that we usually have on the road as well. And I think we're probably going to win by a touchdown or so. I think because of the fact that our defense is pretty good, we can get some pressure on Spencer Rattler because, South Carolina's offensive line is less than desirable. So I think we can get some pretty decent pressure on him and force some errant throws. So I think we'll probably win by about a touchdown or so.
Less than desirable is quite a funny way of saying bad.
Look, I'm trying to keep it PG in here.
Well, by all means, if y'all want to hash this thing out and let out your rage and let the other person know about it, I'm all for that.
Truth be told, I really have no ill will against South Carolina because they're not really a traditional rival. But
yeah, ever since
it's not even trash talk. That's just a fact.
It's really since Spurrier's been gone for a while, that kind of made things heat up for a bit. But since then, sure, we got Muschamp, but it's not like Muschamp was some guy that Florida fans loved, obviously. So that really didn't deepen the rivalry any further. So I'd say I think over the past 15 years or so, it's been a fairly even series. But it's been a pretty good one at that. There's been some good games. There's also been there's been some bad games too. But I mean, I wouldn't call Florida I wouldn't call us like a traditional rivalry like with like Florida with like Georgia or something like that. But I think it's I think it's something that could grow into something pretty good. I mean, well, actually, no, I don't know that for sure because there's going to be conference realignment next year. So, and we don't.
Yeah,
play
so
Florida.
the winner of this game gets bragging rights for at least 2 years.
I wonder what the
Pretty
comments
much.
say. Whether they're taking Billy Napier or Shane Beamer. It's quite the battle we've got here. Do we call this the Muschamp Bowl?
No.
I mean, we could also call this a Spurrier Bowl at that point, and no one's really ever called it that.
Muschamp
But
Bowl has a better.
I
ring
think
to
we
it,
can
but-
say we
yeah.
both equally love Spurrier as much, and we both equally hate Muschamp as much.
I guess y'all can agree on that.
Yes.
If there's anybody out there that likes we like what Muschamp did, but
Well, y'all like what Muschamp did at South Carolina, not Florida.
that's just you also have to blame that on the fact that we also had our own issues with coaches. Quite an abundance.
Mr. Champions of life.
5-star hearts.
I don't know. Muschamp did have a winning record against Tennessee at South Carolina, so I don't know if they really love it that much.
We did have that one year though. Remember that?
2019.
I'm surprised you actually remembered. Yeah. was a great year.
I can remember that because we scored in like the first play of the game and did nothing after that.
And then
Pretty much.
it just completely fell off the map. Yep.
Yep.
That was the year y'all lost to Appalachian State, right?
Oh yeah.
You had the exact mirror opposite of what our season was. We started out losing to a group of 5 team and then just won out the rest of the way. And then South Carolina, I think, won a few games.
Yeah, that
and
was the Georgia State year, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, that was been a long time. Been a very, very
You're
long
gonna give
time.
this poor man PTSD.
No, I've moved on from that. Things have gotten much better. We don't lose to group of 5
I'm
teams.
talking
around
about
anymore.
3-0. You're gonna give this man PTSD.
Nah.
How about this?
In a
Split
much
custody.
better situation now.
When both teams are good, it's the Spurrier Bowl, and when both teams aren't so much, Muschamp Bowl. Great way of putting it. So what about if both teams aren't necessarily bad, but rather, like average?
So last year,
Or this year.
Good question.
There's got to be something you can go along with. Oh, well.
The Spur Champ Bowl. There we go.
Yeah.
Although I will say if South Carolina wins this game, it completes yet another circle with the SEC East people. It's the Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky thing all over again, except in place of Kentucky, it's South Carolina. We'll see how that goes. Was 2019 really a great year? With what we had back from the 2010 stretch to 2020, yeah, it was a great year. Great friggin' year. Phenomenal year even. We finished like 3rd in the SEC East. It's like top tier, if anything. But hold up.
Hate to interrupt it with a different sport, but
I see it. I see it now. Hold on. I was trying to get a zoom in on Lucas's face because he looked like he just saw his first child.
Yes,
Oh, you
sir.
pretty much did. I just
The
saw it
Atlanta
too.
Braves, baby. Let's go.
What a win.
So the Braves win, huh?
Suck it,
Yep.
Philly. Suck it.
Wow.
How about
What a
that
day.
now?
Trying to get back to okay. There we go. All right. Yeah.
What an amazing double play to end the game. Good lord.
That was crazy.
Yeah, Maddie, trust me. It was very different back at that time for a very, very obvious reason. I I don't like remembering that. We're not going to talk about that. Okay, well, we're about to wrap up this show. Of course, me and Lucas still have one more very obvious topic to cover. So which means while we talk about that, I'm going to have to let people who aren't Tennessee fans go. So for 3-0 and Ryan, I got to ask you guys your finalizing thoughts on this game. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we pull it out by about 4 points or so.
Gators by 50.
Ooh, 50, huh? Oh, wait, hold up.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Nah, bro, Cox by 90.
Hold up. I got to see if I can yeah, what do you think about that, 3-0?
What do I think about what?
The screen.
Oh, his profile picture.
Yeah, what do you think about that? What's your analysis on that?
I mean, I was at work when that game was going on, so I don't really remember it.
Oh,
Damn, that's tough.
11 chickens were fried in the process of this play.
Oh,
Damn.
man.
Damn, that's tough. You're being very complacent about this. If I were in your shoes, I want to take that.
I can't say much to a 38-6 blowout. Okay.
Well, is this game going to be a 38-6 blowout?
Hey, how do you think Squid felt having to hear 63-38 for a year?
And he took it just fine.
Well, now I do. Now
I had to hear.
Yeah.
I had to hear.
It's easy to say that now.
Listen, I had to hear 45-20 for a year. Okay.
I didn't even say it that much. I
know I did. I know I did on Twitter when South Carolina fans were trying to talk ish. But
can you explain to me why Spencer Rattler thinks that we're his Super Bowl?
Probably because I've seen Tennessee fans obsessing over South Carolina literally since that game happened.
We've been obsessing over everybody since that happened. It's not just it's a Georgia thing. It's an everybody thing.
Yeah,
we go after everybody week by week, especially the week of the game. Yeah, that's all you're going to hear about.
I don't know where the whole thing where Carolina fans booed or cheered or whatever it was when Hooker went down, because you can literally watch the game recording back and that did not happen.
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah, I didn't hear that happen. So
I will agree with that. You had people heading up to the game before this past season, and they're like, "Time for revenge time for revenge for Hendon Hooker." They're acting like South Carolina was like villains going into that game, and they purposely injured Hendon Hooker, and they're like, now you have no quarterback. Like,
and it was literally a no contact injury too.
Right. It's weird.
Now, do I think that there were maybe like a few extremely drunk fans that probably did? I mean,
probably,
yeah.
But it's not like the whole stadium was cheering. Like,
right. It's I don't get that. And
no, yeah, because I never heard a thing about that until literally the week before the game.
I don't get it. I don't know. Weirdest stuff.
Yeah,
all right.
I just want.
You go ahead.
Where it came from.
Right. All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on here to talk about this game. Looking forward to seeing how things play out. Good luck to both of your teams in the matchup since you don't play us anymore. We've gotten past that already. So yeah. Any finalizing thoughts? Anything else you want to say on the show?
Football analysis.
Feetball.
All right. Well, good job, fellas. All right. Well, I will check in with y'all later.
All right.
Yay.
Okay. Well, Lucas, before we go, we still have one more topic to cover. So don't go anywhere, fellas. Of course, we're not ending the show just yet. We got to talk about the big game of the show so far. Actually, the biggest game of the show. The biggest game for
the only game that matters. The only
absolutely game. Could not say it any better. So, Tennessee versus Texas A&M. we've had a bye week to rest on our thoughts on this game. So we've had some extra time to kind of lay this thing out. And man, oh man, am I excited for it. I'm just excited to see some football, some Tennessee football, but I'm way more excited to actually witness what's going to be a big beatdown coming up. So, okay, Tennessee versus Texas A&M. Tennessee 4-1, Texas A&M 4-2, which means, bye week probably, or Texas A&M hasn't gotten past their bye week yet. They've already played 6 games. They got that coming up. Nonetheless, though, playoff chances for Texas A&M out the window. And let's be honest, there is not a lot, going for them in terms of recency. They lose to Alabama last week. It was a close game, very close game, in fact. They, made it very competitive with Alabama all the way up until the end at home. However, Bama pulled it out by 6, gets the W. Texas A&M's offense just did not look like they had it to get together. I'm guessing they miss Connor Wayman a lot, and
Yeah.
you can't blame him for that. So both of these teams are without some of their key pieces on offense. Of course, Tennessee got some of theirs back a couple of weeks ago. Cooper Mays, we figured out big time that he is a huge portion of that Tennessee offense, and it's great to have him back. But unfortunately, the cost of that, I guess, is losing our boy Brew McCoy. I think Brew McCoy was one of our best receivers who could actually catch the ball. He was extremely dependent, and he was like a tight end that wasn't called a tight end. I think Brew McCoy was a huge part of this offense, and he is going to be deeply missed. Hopefully he comes back before the season comes to a close. But both of these offenses have had some, they've shown some light. The Volunteers coming to this one as a 3.5-point favorite. And to be honest, I could see why. Of course, it's at home for Tennessee, and there's a lot of questions for both of these teams whether or not Tennessee can continue the same success that they had a few weeks ago, whether or not they're frauds. There's a lot of talk about that. Texas A&M, the Texas 8-4 jokes have already come along, and the thing is, Tennessee has not lost a game in Neyland Stadium since 2021 when the Georgia Bulldogs came in. So it's been a very long time since the Vols lost a game in Neyland Stadium. And as previously noted by Mr. Yes Sir, Neyland Stadium will be checkered. This will be a 3:30 game on CBS, so we'll get to hear how Gary Danielson's going to be propping up Alabama all through the entire game. So that's going to be quite a pleasure. I'm so excited to hear that, as you can tell.
I can't wait to hear Gary Danielson talking about when Tennessee wins. He's going to talk about I can't wait to see Tennessee get beat down by Bama next week.
Right, we get to hear all about that. So as it stands right now, of course, something to take note of is that A&M, their second loss, of course, was to Alabama, but their first loss in week 2, that was to Miami, which, before this last week doesn't look like a bad loss. Miami was undefeated. I don't think so. No, that's not as much of a flex now as it used to be to lose to Miami. Not that it ever was a flex, but now it's it's just,
it's definitely
it ain't no good look for them, that's for sure. But A&M, pretty good team overall. They've got a lot going for them. Not much recently. They're still, but they still have everything in front of them. I think not many people expected A&M to make the college football playoffs, and I doubt any A&M fans did either. But as things stand now, there's a lot of interesting results that you could take from this. So Lucas, friggin' advertisements! Shut up. Okay, Lucas, I want to hear your thoughts, man. Who do you think is coming out on top in this one? Well, we all know who's coming out on top.
Yeah, Tennessee obviously coming out on top. This game, it's going to be a match in the trenches. Both teams are actually pretty solid on the defensive line, actually, and both the offensive line too. So this game is definitely going to be a battle in the trenches. So Tennessee, to be able to win this game, I think we got to, of course, win the battle in the trenches. We got to run the ball as well. We got to run it down their throats, I think, because, of course, I don't think Texas A&M's secondary is really that good. So Yeah, man. And also Joe Milton. Hopefully he can have a good game. Offensive line, of course. It's got to protect Joe Milton, give him some time, and I think they'll definitely do a pretty good job. Because Cooper Mays, of course, back, and ever since he came back, our offense has actually been somewhat clicking more, which which proves that Cooper Mays is our best player on offense. But yeah, man. Hopefully we can win. Well, hopefully, no, we are going to win this game, and I think Tennessee pulls out with the victory.
All right. Well, you heard from the man. Yeah, Tennessee, I think, wins this game. Now, I do expect it to be a little bit more interesting than the A&M game was for a variety of reasons. One, I do think A&M has better pieces than South Carolina does in terms of not just, I think A&M overall that has the better defense than South Carolina, which is going to be a true test for Tennessee because Tennessee – against teams of bad defenses, they're able to dice all over them, and it's not an issue. But now you're going up against a team that has a pretty decent defense. They've, held opponents to less yards than Tennessee has, and Tennessee has played some really good defense too. So I won't be surprised at all if this turns out to be, instead of the high-scoring matchup that people expect it to be, for it to be a low-score defense battle in the trenches type game. And I expect it to play out that way. I think A&M is struggling a bit with the run. They're heavily reliant on the passing game. And with the loss of Connor Wayman, that certainly doesn't help them out at all. Now, they do have key pieces here and there, and I do think that they are going to give Tennessee some trouble when it comes to defense. But you look at Tennessee's offense getting things together. They've got the home field advantage, as previously mentioned. And penalties were kind of a huge part as to why Tennessee folded on the road at Gainesville. Well, that won't be a problem here at home, I imagine. It may be a problem for Texas A&M, though, and that's been an issue for them. It's been a big-time issue for them. So, in my mind, with home field, with how packed Neyland's going to be, and with the fact that Tennessee is seemingly improving week by week, not just with the passing game and Joe Milton, but with the ability to run the ball, I think Tennessee comes out and wins this game. And I think they proved that they're not out of that. They're not out of the fight just yet. So huge game for this Tennessee team, and of course a huge week of college football. And we'll see. We'll find out real quick if this Volunteer team has got the fight in them and the ability to carry this thing all the way up to where they want to be. So.
Yeah, I would also add that another reason I think Tennessee is going to win this Saturday is going to be because of Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, good old Jimbo moment, if you could say so. Well, that's going to wrap it up here over here on the Vol-Star podcast. I do have an image I want to find. Hopefully, it should be somewhere on my Twitter feed. I want to share this before we head on out of here. I'm going to post this. I think tomorrow I'm going to, post for people to start giving me Texas A&M memes like last week when I had people give me the South Carolina memes. I got to find this. I know I have it saved on here, but it is absolutely this this is the full epitome of Texas A&M football right here. I think, bless you. I think we can all agree on this.
No, man.
What the hell is he doing there? What's he doing there? Why is he just standing there in the middle of a play?
I don't know.
Does he think he's an official? Unreal.
This is
unreal.
This is almost as mind-boggling as when Texas A&M didn't go for that 4th and 1 against Alabama. Because
yeah,
I mean, you got to go for that. You got to.
Right. Well, I've been stockpiling memes for this week's hate video that I'm going to drop Friday. And I'm going to, of course, drop and tell Tennessee fans to give their memes in the feed so that people can we can stockpile all of the Texas A&M memes we possibly can. And there are quite a few to run along with, so we'll have plenty of time to speak on that. And, yeah, that's all I have for today. I do have to flaunt this around, though. Okay. I felt something was missing throughout the entire show, and to wear it this late in the show is kind of a loss in itself. But better late than never. Let's check out the comments before we get on out of here. I pray to God that our offensive line does not die on the field. I highly doubt that's the case. I would think so.
Yeah, our offensive line as of late, ever since Cooper Mays came back, has been playing good.
Right. Yeah. Neo says Bama also is improving week by week. That is true. Something to take note of. I think Jalen Milroe is the guy, and I'm looking forward to what's probably going to be a really good game in Tuscaloosa. Hopefully, I say that because Tennessee has really had their struggles on the road lately.
Yeah, I hope it's a good game. I mean, well, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. If this game were to be, if somebody were to tell me that this game were to be a blowout, I would definitely be in favoritism of Bama because Tennessee just does not. They did blow out LSU on the road, but
yeah,
Tennessee.
Tennessee just shows up better when they're at home.
Right. And then Yes Sir says, bye Squidtard, see you next week again. By the way, I really need you to do a watch party for this game. Well, I usually watch the game with my parents. I actually plan to do a watch party for the Florida game, but I didn't see anybody in the comment section, so I didn't bother with that one. But if I'm not watching the game with my family, then I will most definitely have a watch party planned. I'll figure that out before this Saturday, and we'll see how it goes. So, that wraps up another episode of the Vol-Star Podcast. This is probably the longest one we've done so far. Hour and 30-minute runtime on this one, Lucas.
Yeah, man.
Great show.
Yeah, amazing show. Honestly, this might be the best one we've done yet.
For sure. Well, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'm going to try, and I told this to Lucas before we began the show. For the last 4 weeks, I've been meaning to make an actual intro for this show. And I think I'm going to finally get around to it this week. I'm on fall break, which means I'm off tomorrow. Unfortunately, over here at the University of Tennessee, we don't get a week off like most other schools do. But it is nice that I get to at least have tomorrow off. I don't have to worry about an abundance of things. And originally, we do this show every Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't worry, I'm not an idiot. I know that it's Monday, but some things happen. And next week, I'll hopefully have an intro, and we'll have Julio back to talk about the Alabama game. So I'm looking forward to what's going to be a great week of talking about college football next week. And hopefully we come out with the dub on our end. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like. Sub it to Squidtard if you haven't already. And go check out Lucas Sharp over on Twitter. That would be much appreciated. Make sure to follow the Vol-Star Podcast wherever you can. All right. We'll see you guys again next week. And, Lucas, got any finalizing words?
All I got to say is go Vols. Let's beat an A&M. And go Braves, man. Chop on. We beat the Phillies.
Right. All right. Well, fellas, you heard this fellow over here. Nope, other way. All right. We'll see you guys next week. And as always, Powder Tardaria, and more importantly on this show, go Vols, baby. Woo!